Riding to the Top, the story of a cycling champion. Once upon a time, there was a young man named Jack who had always been fascinated by cycling. He would often watch professional cycling races on television and dream of one day competing in the Tour de France. Despite his love for cycling, Jack had never actually ridden a bike before, but one day, he decided to change that and bought himself a shiny new road bike. Excited to finally start riding, he headed out to a nearby park to give it a try. At first, Jack struggled to keep his balance and found it difficult to pedal, but with practice, he soon became more confident and started to enjoy the feeling of the wind in his hair as he rode. He spent every spare moment at the park, honing his skills and building up his endurance. As the months passed, Jack's love for cycling only grew stronger. He began to explore more and more of the local area, eventually venturing out on longer rides and tackling steep hills. He even started to compete in local races, and found that he had a real talent for the sport. Determined to take his cycling to the next level, Jack began training harder than ever before. He followed a strict training regimen, and worked tirelessly to improve his speed and endurance. He also sought out advice from more experienced riders and coaches. All of Jack's hard work paid off when he was selected to compete in the Tour de France. He was thrilled to have the opportunity to race alongside some of the best cyclists in the world, and was determined to make the most of it. Despite the tough competition, Jack held his own and even managed to win a stage of the race. He crossed the finish line in Paris to a crowd of cheering fans, and knew that his dream of becoming a professional cyclist had finally come true. From then on, Jack continued to compete in major races around the world and inspired many young people to take up cycling as a sport and hobby. He lived a fulfilling life and his passion for cycling never fades away. Years went by and Jack's reputation as a top-tier cyclist grew. He won multiple Tour de France titles and even competed in the Olympics, winning a gold medal for his country. He became a household name and a role model for young athletes everywhere. But Jack didn't just focus on his own success. He also used his platform to promote the benefits of cycling, both as a sport and as a means of transportation. He advocated for better bike lanes and infrastructure, and even started his own cycling school to teach young people the joys of riding a bike. As he approached the end of his competitive career, Jack began to think about what came next. He knew he couldn't race forever, but he didn't want to give up the sport he loved. So he decided to use his knowledge and experience to become a coach. He worked with young riders, helping them to improve their skills and reach their full potential. He also worked with teams, helping them to develop strategies and tactics for races, and he even wrote a best-selling book about his experiences as a cyclist, which became a Bible for many aspiring riders. Years passed, and Jack's legacy as a cyclist and coach lived on. His name was synonymous with the sport, and he was remembered as one of the greatest cyclists of all time. But more than that, he was remembered as a true ambassador for cycling, who helped to promote the sport and inspire a new generation of riders.